Hey yo, what's up? So I'm just chilling right now. I got my wine in my Starbucks cup because we reuse plastic, okay? I got my little joint and the wonderful fresh air. Oh, it feels so good outside today. And I just wanted to check in and just like speak about grief because I feel like not enough people speak about it, and then when we go through it, it's like, whoa. And I'm just speaking from my personal perspective. Like, I never went through any type of death that was close to me. Of course people died when I was like younger, but I wasn't close to them. And it wasn't until about 2 years ago which I finally experienced death. And I want to say finally is because it's really weird. When I was younger, I would think about how sad I would be when my grandmother died, and I would cry of just the thought of her passing away. To her finally passing away, like, I still remember, getting that phone call. Well, the first person actually was my grandfather that was close to me, but I was close to him, but not as close as my grandmother. Meaning like emotionally wise, like, I didn't really connect with him just because old school macho man, but I was close to him because he was my grandma's husband. So it was always him and her, and he would always like, oh man, I don't want to cry. He would always defend me and just like save me food, because I would always work in the city and I lived like really far in Brooklyn. And that was pretty. I think honestly I'm still going through the like part of I can't believe it happened. And of course I've continued and I moved on, right? But in other ways I feel like I haven't moved on. Like, I don't know, every time I see an older person, like, it doesn't matter like how they look. If I see an old person outside by themselves, like doing something, because my grandparents were very active, and it makes me think about them. I'm like, damn. But the crazy part about it is that it's like the little things. Oh my god, you guys gonna think I'm a crybaby? It's okay though, because you know what, there's nothing wrong with crying. Like, I think we have to normalize crying because it's okay to cry. I think for the most part, a lot of things have reminders, and like I'll have a moment, I start crying, I'm like, okay, snap back out of it. And I think we live in a world where we have to move on, like, especially like if you're poor. I don't have the luxury of just like laying down being depressed, like, oh, my life, I can't do this, because that's how I feel inside. And I have to like force myself. When I say force myself to do what I need to do for myself, because I know that no one else will do it. And like, my safety net is gone, right? The person that I know will always accept me, love me unconditionally, is not there anymore. They're not here anymore. And I really now truly do feel like I'm on my own. We don't gotta get into my parents yet. We'll get into that later. But my grandparents were like, if anything else fails, I could go there. And I don't have that anymore. So now I really do feel like, all right, I have to get my shit together. And I think it's really hard to really mourn someone when you basically are still trying to heal yourself as well. Because we have our own issues, but then when we lose someone, it's kind of like we lose ourselves. And I was reading a couple things, like, I'm always on the freaking internet, but like, sometimes we want to go back to our old selves, but that person, we can't be that person anymore. And I've been thinking about that a lot. I'm like, oh, like, I want to go back to old Samantha. But what is old Samantha? Like, does that still fulfill me what old Samantha wanted out of life? And honestly, it really doesn't. I was gonna go out last weekend and I decided not to because I was reflecting. And last summer when I broke up with my ex, I was outside like 2-3 times a week, sometimes back to back, right? And then I was thinking like, okay, well, now I have more responsibility. Like I moved out of my other grandmother's house. I'm trying to really be self-sustainable, like, you know, get out of that. I kind of always feel like I'm stuck in a situation where I need someone, and I want to be in a point where like I did this all on my own, which I did. Like, no one helped me with anything financially. If anything, people have helped me with support, but financially, like, opportunity, all of that, like, I did myself. Put my down payment for school, I did myself. And shout out to my friend, because she brought that up to me, like, yo, Sam, you did this all by yourself. And it's just crazy to think that I'm trying to, like, be this person I was before, but that person is gone. And not in a bad way. It doesn't mean, like, oh, I still can't do what makes me happy, but I think what makes me happy has changed. And I think I was trying to chase this thing, like, oh, I need to go outside, like, I need to be outside, to feel like I kind of get a rush from it. It also, like, it's a distraction, and I like to dress up and do my makeup, but when I'm actually outside, of course, when I'm like with all my friends, I'm having a good time, but I get these moments where I disassociate. I feel like I don't belong here. I feel like there's no point of this. This is not fulfilling me. And it's not even like anything like negative happen in these places that I've gone out to. It's more like, what is this even for? And I never thought I would get to this point, like, because like I love to party, and don't get me wrong, I still like gonna go out, but for the frequency of that I was doing it in, like, I think I kind of was trying to escape my reality, which I kind of like touched on in my last video about, like, you know, just leaving the house automatically because I couldn't even be home, and I didn't want to be home. And now that I'm at home, well, my old home, now that I'm not living with my grandmother, now I'm like, okay, do I really want to go out, or do I just want to rest? Do I really want to go out, or do I need to work on something? And it's kind of that shift. And you don't have to be stuck on the person that you used to be, like, oh, I want to go back to doing this and that. No, you have to literally, like, I spoke about this in another video, and sometimes you teach yourself things too. Meaning, like, when I like look back at old videos, I'm like, but we created the reality that we're in, and I had to take responsibility for it. And I created a reality where, hey, like, I go out a lot, but that's not the reality I want to live in anymore, because honestly, it's all a freaking facade. Like, everyone in New York City goes out, acts popping, like, hee, I'm so happy. But are you really happy? Are you? And most of the time, I can't give you a number, but I would just say I'm not the only one that feels that way when they go out. And I just wanted to say, like, stop chasing who you used to be and become a better version of that. Become a newer version of that. Become a version that you didn't even think the old person would even want to do. And I'm challenging myself. I'm challenging y'all. But, you know, we can never go back to who we were. Like, we're literally in the present. If you experience death, you experience a breakup, you experience a major change in your life, like anything, you're never gonna be that person again. Like, after that experience, you're not gonna be the old person. You're gonna be a new person. And don't sit and be sad about, oh, like, I used to be this person. Who do you want to be right now? 'Cause I'm pretty sure that person you were before wasn't also perfect. So, on that note, I'm about to peace out. About to smoke my joint, finish my wine, enjoy the fresh air, because it feels so good. Oh my gosh. And I hope everyone has a good night, a good day whenever you're watching this. And just be you. And it's a marathon, not a race. That's so corny, right? Y'all know. But nah, that shit is true. Like, alright. Bye.